Okay. It looks like we're back. Let's see. I was gonna sit there for a minute because it probably took forever for it to like grab that. Okay, that delay is I think rougher than normal. It says I got an excellent connection on YouTube, so I guess let's go forward. Sorry about that, everyone. I don't know. I don't know how to fix this problem. I don't think it's my internet provider, in so much as like that I could like get a better like internet plan or something like that, you know. If you watched yesterday's VOD or yesterday's stream, you did hear me say that we had a pretty big storm. I wonder if there's just some like lines down. I wouldn't know because again, the very first thing I did today was this. So if there was internet connectivity issues, I have only experienced them through you all. Okay, now that we have internet back, now that we're like at like full connection, let's do our usual of get the boss down to the theoretical, like get them to within lethal range to see what else we have to work with. We probably are gonna just stay here and Tenrai Bonsatsu. That drops accuracy. I want some more stuff that drops armor. Come on. Did we actually already do that too? No, his accuracy is already down. So actually that accuracy drop doesn't matter. We'll just need someone else to come in and take the Grid Knight's support attack. We could have Suleta take a press kill. Like we're probably gonna press a lot to get some extra kills. Have Suleta take a press kill and then move next to the Kaiser Grid Knight for the support attack off of them. So this is probably just fine as like the most amount of damage we can do. Yeah, that seems good. Okay. Though I guess we kind of want the Grid Knight to go sooner rather than later for Crush. Though we don't actually have to use Crush. Like, he's gonna die all the same. So you take this. And that's almost lethal, so let's give you an Analyze. Yeah. And then move you up adjacent for this. Is Dynamic Cannon, yeah, that's their best one. We'll need bullseyes for all of these, which is fine. I guess we could crush here, and then if we crush off the support attack, if we crush through the support attack, that will make it will make him vulnerable for the like actual attack that we're gonna do that. Right, because then we are getting, what is this? This is like 12,000-ish. So bump that up to what, like 15,000-ish, double to 30k, and then we also can need to smash. Yeah, I think we might be able to. I think we might be able to do this with just Suleta and Galma, or Grid Knight. I want to keep calling him Galma because to me that's like he's still the main deal. I am sad though. There were 2 people watching and they're not going to get to finish watching the stream. Now we're dropping frames again. least YouTube is caught up with that now. Maybe we might just end up early. We might end up ending early because if if you can't watch it, there's no point. I guess let's give it a minute. Actually, you know what? Here's a good time for this. We talked about doing some Austin's Art Corner stuff with units. I would rather not. I mean, I would like all of it to be visible if at all possible, but I think preferable if the thing you theoretically signed up for, which was watching me play the game, was, a thing that you could see. So let's go back to those units we were talking about yesterday. We'll talk about some of them and give it a little bit of time for it to see if it get itself together. Right, like something to fill the space, but something that's still testable, so we can see if the stream keeps working. And then I also just won't jump back immediately if it starts working well. I want to see it hold for a bit. We'll pull up these first 4 because I think that takes us up to, yeah, I guess the first 3 because one of them's from the original series. Okay. I need you to take. I gotta move this to the. I gotta reorganize my sources. I've got so many sources available. I've got so many sources listed so I can switch back and forth between all of my different versions of my PC. If you catch my drift. Okay. Yeah. So we did this last stream. So if you're watching this VOD and you didn't watch the previous one, I think I like doing this. I'm gonna usually do it at the end of streams. We're cutting it in here. I guess I like doing it at the end of streams, or I guess filling in the. Whenever we're gonna have connectivity issues, but just talking about some unit design, right? Because I'm gonna relegate my conversations of story to scripted videos about them, but that doesn't change the fact that I do have feelings about non-gameplay elements of things. So if you like this kind of stuff, let me know. And we can do this more. I'm probably going to have the most fun with it when I've seen some part of the content they are from, but I also don't have any problems talking about something we just haven't seen at all. Right now we're just on a Code Geass kick because one of my chatters is super into Code Geass, so we've been talking about it some. But I probably will. I do have some thoughts about the Mazinger, some of the couple of Mazinger enemies. As I'm watching that, we can probably talk about the Monster of the Weeks whenever I get to the next episode. But again, if this is at all interesting to people, I guess let me know if it's awful and heinous. But if it's really interesting, I can also do a small video about this kind of stuff too. I know I say that kind of stuff all the time, but I don't know, just I have a lot of things to say. I'm not gonna try and struggle to find things to say. It's just what people want to hear. But yeah. So we can talk about the Camden. I guess actually. Maybe this is probably good to talk about second, because I think a lot of it's going to be comparative. I'm cheating a little bit by saying it says the mass production type, but this does look. It's not quite hero. It's not quite hero coded, right? It's probably isn't a main character one, or maybe the main character starts in one. But if we're taking this as a general design principle. I want to talk about this first so we can talk about the Camden second, because it's not using the same design philosophy. Code Geass has leaned itself a lot on very humanoid designs, and a lot of real robots tend to be more humanoid, but even more so. I would say even it's on the whole much more so. That there's not a lot of excess frill to a lot of their designs in a way that, or if there is, it is done so in 2 very specific ways. It is to mirror the stylings of human human clothing, or human human adornment, right? So cloaks and needlessly showy bits of armor, or really spiky or dramatic garnishes, that kind of stuff. And then the other way is in the face structure. I have a hard time reading, actually, to that point, so we should look at one of the regular faces. There's no reason we can't look around on this stuff. Just give me, like, Sutherland will do. Yes, this is, like, the default of default units in Code Geass. Like, it's very blocky, it's very chunky. Actually, this is important, too, so we can talk about, like, comparisons again. It's, like, very blocky and very chunky, but, like, I find a hard time deciding which portion of the head we're supposed to read as head. Is this the part the face, and this the forehead, or is this the mouth and this the face? And, like, it's a robot, it doesn't have to have one of those, but, like, it's still trying to communicate something. But this section, this circle opens up, if you're not familiar. Do we have... This is a thing that MAHQ might have. Okay. It probably does somewhere. I won't spend a lot of time clicking around trying to find it. But that front circle opens up to reveal a, like, monocular eye. That's, like, I think very intentionally designed to be, like, almost Uncanny Valley-esque, right? Like, it's very a-human, where the rest of what's being communicated here is, like, very human biology to it. Again, if a bit, like, very chunky. And, like, I think it's very much on purpose. So to see us move to a more humanoid face is definitely an interesting choice. It aligns itself more with very conventional standards of what we expect out of mecha. Like, I imagine the eye from the Sutherland that's, like, in this circle is probably happening up into this dot here. So, like, the mechanical quality can still be, you can still transfer it through. But I liked how much the nameless, faceless characters in their generic units, those units also were, like, the panopticon, the, like, constantly watching source of, they are generic, but they are part of this greater controlling and always observing whole, right? Because the story is, like, I guess, I never know where to start with this stuff, which is also why I'm like, maybe should we just do this separately too? But I think doing it on stream just to, like, give me more work to do is probably worthwhile. And we'll build it up as we go. Who knows? Whatever. But yeah, so it's probably worthwhile talking a little bit about the story. No spoiler stuff, but to, like, make sense of some of this, like, why this design philosophy matters. But broad strokes, we are talking about a, like, totalitarian, imperialist society taking over Japan. That has happened before the events of the story. And they do present themselves as a very oppressive regime. So, like, it makes sense why those design philosophies are followed through into the robots that represent them. I don't know who has access to this, so it's Britannia and Japan. Japan gets a couple different names. You'll hear it as Area 11 also. It's the Britannian name for it. So I don't know who has use of this. This says... Oh, we're moving stuff in the background. I guess we're, like, probably healthy now. I'll finish my thoughts with the Sekka and not do the other two, and we'll do those later, and then we can go back to flying. This says kind of Britannian design. Like, the fact that we are, like, colored white, and the main character of Lelouch's group is called the Black Knights. Like, I feel like we very much want to very deliberately color code opposites to make it, like, a very clear, stark situation, right? Because Code Geass very much leans on the fact that we have the black and white elements of chess. We have very faction-based conversations, while trying to inject a lot of nuance by the players, that the global scale conflict is very cut and dry, but how people are relating to it is very specific and very nuanced. So, but because this is also, like, again, because this is mass-produced, this to me does not say it needs to communicate specific elements about a character, but just about generally how the world works. There's definitely a fragility to this that I find very interesting. Like, again, the Sutherland, like, this looks tanky, this looks durable, it looks very survivable. And in a very unique way, too, where typically a lot of times when you destroy parts of a robot, that's, like, a thing that needs to get repaired, and that's, like, ardor, that is work, that is, like, something that's going to impact the plot. Whereas a lot of times these units can just, like, detach their limbs and just reattach them, which is, like, that makes sense why a machine would be able to do that. Or why you'd want to design a machine that could do that. where I could maybe see that happening with the arms with this like circle kind of section here, but these don't feel nearly as interchangeable. Like, it's pretty common to see in the middle of combat some of these units sort of like mix and match their parts based on what like just sort of what's around, or like a Sutherland got destroyed but the arm's okay, well a Gloucester, sort of like the upgraded tier of the Sutherland, lost an arm, we'll just slap a Sutherland on and keep moving. Where that doesn't seem as possible here with this character design, right? Like, these seem very specific, unless everything looks like this now, which it could. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Just so what that says to me is that like consequences are like at higher stakes now, because like we can't mix and match parts, and things are more fragile now. So especially if we're like post, I believe Control Room Guy, my chatter, told me last time that it's post the rest of the story, and like a lot of the plot of the story is breaking things. Like, we are trying to upend a lot of like societal norms. So it makes sense to me why our like refreshed design after that is going to be very fragile at first, as we all sort of like step into this new dawn of like, how does the world work now? It's not easy for us. It makes sense to me. It follows that the machination of society that has a system of easily replaceable people, of rules that are already in place that are designed to hold themselves up. It's very easy then to substitute a small component back into that if something breaks. Whereas if we've torn down a lot of what's happening with society and replaced it with something new, having a unit that then is like not easily replaceable because we don't know how to replace things yet is very fragile, because we're just like taking forays into this world. Like, that to me tracks with new kind of design. I do love the feet especially. So like, I guess, yeah. So like the Sutherlands have them on here on this like this side part, and some of the other units later have them that are like flopped down at the back. But I like that we've made the like movement a little bit more compact. Code Geass definitely gets like ragged on a lot for some of the like goofiness of it. And I don't think this is like a major criticism I've heard people say, but I do think it's a criticism that I have had, that it's a very urban show. A lot of these things take place in urban settings, not exclusively, right? Like, there's definitely some times where we are outside, but either way, the way this wheel structure works to me does not say dense urban or like very rural. This to me says like mild urban to suburban, right, where you have some space to move around. But if you're like going back and forth between alleyways, like, this is adding a lot of width to your profile. Whereas now that we've like compacted it into just the tire, this feels more mobile, right? It feels easier to move around. It feels like you're able to get to tighter places. It feels like you're able to respond to things going poorly. Like, a lot of Lelouch is famously a tactician, and a lot of what happens is not big scale, grand, glorious conflict, but a lot of like ambush, a lot of positioning based defeats. So it also makes sense, if this is in fact from the Britannian side, to start designing more mobile, able to respond to that kind of threat unit, right? Because like Zero Lelouch is the only character that really opposes Britannia for much of the plot, or like it's seemingly throughout the time that it existed. So it makes sense why you would want to scale your designs to keep up with the kind of conflict you're going to be seeing. But again, that is dependent on this being Britannia. I'm not sure it is, but like, it makes sense to me why it would be based on that. So that's my thoughts on the Sekka. I have a couple more, but I think they make sense to apply to other units that we'll see later. But seeing as my stream is held for a good bit, I think we can get back to play. But yeah, let me know if that kind of thing is up your alley, because I would just sit and do that with my friends already if I wasn't on stream. So I mean, if people like it, why not? Right. So yeah. We're attacking here with Suletta. This gets a support attack off with the Grid Knight that is giving us you can just stay there. That gave us a crush to drop its defenses. So now I think the Grid Knight is lethal. We're not at, hold on, no, wait. We need a smash on here. If we double this is 28,000. So that's actually not, that's not quite lethal. We need one more attack. That's fine. Okay, so we could make it Kira after he does some cleaning up of these, though again, we kind of don't want to... If we can help it, I would prefer it to be the getter that does the cleaning up. Right? Have him smash through a lot of these. This could be a Callan kill, just to like give her something to do. Yeah, that seems fine. So... we could just have Kira chip. Like, he doesn't need to be getting anything else. He's almost at score 200. We are wasting... We will be wasting a fortune, though. So I guess, hold on. Let's give him a press to use that fortune, and then from there we can chip the boss, and then have that ready for the Grid Knight. Not that the Grid Knight needs to be getting any more either, but... yeah, like, that's fine. You stay there. Oh, but because we used the attack, we lost Snipe. So Snipe is just, this lasts for one round of combat. Okay, it doesn't last for a turn. That's fine. I mean, it's not going to change anything for us. Yeah, and then get you out of here. I think Akira is probably just going to resupply Akira, just because that's, like, probably the most EXP he can get. Right, and this is even lethal without needing to double damage. There is definitely, like, a cleaner way of doing this that we did not take, but that's okay. So given that, could we maybe find a way to kill another boss somewhere in here with the Kaiser Grid Knight? Let's see. I guess, is it better to... It might be better to just get a kill with Akira. I just don't care about his ace bonus that much. Maybe he is not long for the team. Because I like, so far I've had to, like, try to actively find things for him to do, and usually it's like that. Right, where he's using a part that literally anybody could be using. So, maybe we will reconsider his position. Maybe we should be, like, maybe I will, like, start leveling up Messer some more. Or, Messer, we can't do that anymore. Hayate some more. Like, he is a main character. I'm sure he'll be fine. Okay. The trouble is we're going to run out of energy pretty quickly doing this. So... okay, if we get an Etude, that's still... yeah, that still lasts for the whole thing. How is that not lethal? Yeah, that will be. And then we press. Okay. Is no one in range of this? Okay, yeah. I guess we should check bosses first. I was gonna start, like, faffing about with taking, like, generic kills. But we do still have 2 bosses on the table, and we can maybe get those. We can spirit some, so you guys aren't gonna have another turn. I guess let's just analyze all of them now as we're checking things, because it's not like the Jet Jaguar's gonna do anything else from back here. Oh, we do have a press off of Daba, so we probably want to kill here first. Or we want to kill something first. Whatever doesn't actually, like, cost us anything. Like, yeah, that will do. Actually, this is fine because we can get support. We can get support attack off of Doma. Oh no, we can't. Okay. So we should have landed somewhere else, so we could have support attacked onto Rufei. I mean, we can still do that with another press if we want to, or we could just have, like, we can do this to get the support attack off of Doma, and that still works. Have some more. Oh yeah, right, because we also want, I gotta remember this too, that we want Sho and Shion to hit 150 morale, particularly to get that 20% extra damage off. This is probably good. Right. Ooh, 1 experience. We even doubled our 1 experience. How exciting. Okay, so Wu Fei's dead. We just need a Daunt somewhere. I should just search for it instead of going through each one individually. Bell's got it. Daunt the Altron. Then, do you have a fortune already? No, okay, we need to get a fortune somehow. Oh, no. Spirits. Oh, I was just pressing the wrong button. Just forgot how to navigate there for a second. That's fine. Everything's fine. And we can start assist cheering now, because I think having Doma around again is probably in our best interest. Okay. Assist. A cookie. I'm not going to bother with Shalio, though. He takes way too long to kill. Right, so I kind of want to, like, move out. Hold on. If we are here, we go 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just short of hitting the Vieres. Yeah, I picked the worst position for the L game. That's fine. I would see if we could get a support attack. Though I think we already got a support attack off Dama, so that actually doesn't matter. Right, we already used the getter to get the support attack. So, okay. We are good. Oh, getting infight is not bad. We do use those sometimes. What does drive do? Yeah, I guess we haven't given anyone infighting in a bit, the 4 levels of that. There's just like so much stuff I want to give people. I think I'm gonna have a ball once I know like what to expect out of this game. Like trying to figure out how to build or try to figure out how to like optimize build. Gain 30 morale. I mean, drive is a gross spirit. That's so good. It's just so pointless on toe mode because of how he works now. That would have been good earlier, but like we're never gonna need that. That's so unnecessary. Okay, so we could like take out this and press again. Yeah. You don't have a fortune left. No, you don't. You have a bullseye left. Like, that'll work. Yeah, if anyone's killing this, I prefer to be the getter, and we can press the getter. And then move it up here. Then that's Todd dead, and we probably can press one more time off of this to get down to and start attacking Gabli. I feel like these 3 can probably do something. We could probably take like maybe we could take at least one of these down. I guess we can do this and give Suzaku more morale. Oh, no. Giving it to Shion actually matters, because that puts him over that 150. We've got no support attacks over here. I guess we can give it to... We'll have Koji attack first. That's fine. It doesn't actually really matter, I don't think. Are we... The second I go back to streaming this... Gracious. Focus. And how many blessings do we have left? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We can maybe squeak a 5th one in somewhere. So we don't need to do that here. We could have... We can have Suzaku disrupt this. We can actually get like a good attack in. Right, like that's probably reasonable. Do you have an Excel you have not used? You do have an Excel that you can still use. So maybe we can just have like he can just get over to Gablai. No, he is not close enough for that to matter. Okay, so that Excel probably doesn't actually mean anything. Maybe he's the one that finishes off Todd. Yeah, okay. Let's press you. And we need the... Okay, actually none of those are lethal. That almost is. That is with an Analyze. Okay. It goes to 8. We still got one more on the Jet Jaguar. And does Akira have the last one? No. We've got 7 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, okay. I'm glad we've organized that in a way that's not stupid. Okay, so you definitely get a press. I guess we move there. Okay. Right. I need to be doing this more. So we give this to Mar. If we spend Mari, that we go down from 5 to 3. So we're now up to 6, and we've like barely lost anything. Yeah, those aren't gonna. That's not gonna do anything. We can give them more spirit. I don't think that matters quite yet. Okay. Or not quite. I mean, like, yet as in, like, where they are in their development, not where they are in terms of the map. Like, it's never going to matter in terms of the map. Yeah, so let's figure this out now. Okay, I guess we're just gonna have to take that damage. That's fine. Oh, we're already on. Persist. I read that as 4,800 damage. Okay. Right. Suzaku's probably gonna be. No, Suzaku's probably not going to be the one to finish that off. Because we want that. I think we're going to give it to Domon so that he can then press over and maybe help with see if we can still hit Gablai. Maybe. I don't think we've got enough of our allies left. Okay. Yeah, this is where you also getting those extra attacks would really make a big difference. Wait, hold on. We need to see skill. You're at 234, 214. Yeah, so at plus 20, we are landing that. There's like so much stuff to buy. Maybe those second attacks are actually more worthwhile. especially for someone like Domwin, where we're not actually out of energy at all. And that would just be lethal here if we got a support attack off of himself. Yeah. Is Thunder Bomber lethal on any of these things? And no, and not, it's also not close, which is not what I was expecting to say. Yeah, they're like not quite self-sustainable. They're not quite self-sustaining yet. We could probably take out one of the Luminuses, right? Like we could like move forward with the Jet Jaguar, and then like do this. And then this is gonna be lethal with Thunder Bomber. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so then we Thunder Bomber here. That's enough for us to press off of the God Gundam. Yeah. That'll work. And like obviously we're not gonna get to kill Gably, obviously. We don't have enough stuff left. Maybe not, man. Right, again, if we would have been able to do a second attack, like that's so close. Okay, seeing as this is nearly lethal, though less so than it used to be. Could we double our damage? Like, could we come here, do this, have this doubled, kill him, and then turn around and pop save us after a press off of the Grid Knight? It's worth trying, I think. We still have one... Nope, not that. We still have one more assist here. Yeah. So that is another press, but it's also enough to like... Oh, it's actually not enough to charge up Echica. I was trying to figure out if there's... I still am not using this really well, but there's definitely a sequence where we can like charge up Echica a little bit more than we are to like squeeze out some more assists off of her Unity. And especially if we use Kaname, we can get some extra stuff off of the rest of her side pilots. But this is still doable, assuming we probably want to try and Daunt save us some more. So can we do that to make sure that damage gets in? Koyomi has a Daunt. That's good. You. No, that's literally the only one. Okay. Right, so is this lethal now? No, that still isn't. Okay. Oh, but we also are not at max morale. Hold on. We also can't get to max morale. I guess if we kill, we'll get some more. Okay, is Domon lethal? No, he is less lethal. I think we can kill Gably. That's 14,000. Plus 22,000 is 36. Oh, actually, in fact, this is not. Okay, never mind. I'm glad we checked. So, no, instead, we should just let Domon take another one of these Luminuses out. Right, like, he can punch here, or I guess this one instead, because that's worth more. Yeah, we also wasted a blast, that's fine. And then he can chip. Right, like, any amount of damage here makes this safe for the Grid Knight. Yeah. Okay. Funny how that is, that, now that we are... Oh, no, we could have done it. We definitely could have done it, because we had charge. Darn, I was not paying attention to that. It's okay. But funny how once you, now that we can do it in one, now that we can do it in like 1 or 2 turns, those turns are just longer. Okay. Well, let's finish him off. He's got a very similar design to Great Might Gain, I think. The like big gold chest piece, big gold headpiece. Especially the comparison between the two. Right? We go from a, like, still very dynamic and like very dramatic. Yo, we got a Haro. Sick. We don't have to buy one. That's like 40,000 credits by itself. We go from this like very distinct profile to this like very wide, dramatic one. Yeah. We should stop talking about like gold stuff and be sad for the dead. Okay. A ninja's oath. Sweet. Oh, is this the end of that chapter? Her small, trembling frame. We need to make sure that you understand that this woman is fragile. It's very important that you know that the women are fragile. I mean, like, I believe that she's maybe given a little bit more character than that, but I do always hate this, like... It's being physically small of stature does not mean that you are, like, physically small of ability. I'm just tired. I'm so tired of that. Why can't I go? Hold on. You see that there's another. Okay, you see that was down there, right? I just could not arrow to it. Why is this being? Okay, it's being weird. So yeah, we are in chapter 5 now. Okay, chapter 4 was really short. That's weirdly short. I wonder if just because I didn't do a lot of other secrets and there would have been more missions here had I like gotten things unlocked correctly. When is anything? It's like 7:50, so we got time for some small stuff. I think I got a lot to think about for customizing, right? Like, Akira's probably not going to be here much longer. He's just not doing much. We would like to get some more combat units in, because think about, like, this, I keep oscillating back and forth with this, right? Where, like, our support units are good, but, like, we just could not... I think the thing that I want to be good on paper just isn't happening because we're clearing things so much faster. So there's no need for the quality that I'm expecting out of them. Not quality as in like high quality, as in like the element of their design that we want out of them. Like, we just want people that can go to combat more. So like maybe we do put something into like Hayate. I don't want to like just use main characters. I'm still kind of waiting for like the Majin Emperor to like show up and help. I still don't think Shin is worthwhile. We could use like any number of the wing pilots. Or like I did say that the wing 0 is probably good. Yeah, I'll think about how we want to spend our money. Because I also, like, I do still want to get, like, getting a second attack for Domon would be really rather good, too. Like, technically it'd be easier on show. I guess it's easier by 1 point, but he's just, like, also not he's not outputting damage the same way that Domon is. I do think it's pretty lousy that they're usually handing you exactly 1 instance of these parts, like, of these skills. At this level, like, you could probably give us a level 2, like, a tier 2 version of their upgrade. I'm so paranoid. I've been smelling stuff this whole stream. I'm so worried that, like, my burners are still on, but I think it's just that the dinner I made for myself last night is so potent. It's so spicy in terms of capital S, like hot on your tongue, but spicy in terms of there is a lot of spice to it. That is just like still radiating around my room. Yeah. Saisaichi is like, I guess he's level 24, but like he's like largely untraded. Is also reaching a skill that is defensively, when uninvested, close to being able to use second attack, which is not surprising based on his design. Yeah, I do this every once in a while. Actually, here, no, I will say this as a theoretical professional about this game, as a theoretical expert. Every once in a while, I think it is valuable to take all of the parts off of all of your units and start from scratch. Because sometimes you have stuff on here like we had with the Dunbine, where I was just so hesitant to change it because I was so used to it being locked in the way that it was, and like it is working that way, but just because it's working that way doesn't mean it's the best way it's going to be working. You know? So just like deliberately taking something off to like feel like you are getting to feel like you're getting a change is like probably worth your time. Hold on, that's not how that sentence should go. Deliberately taking something off such that you feel like you have the ability to change is probably worth your time. I wonder why we didn't get some of these. Probably some of them get like knocked out because we took too long to do them. But, yeah. But like some of these are saying empty because I didn't like fulfill parts of them. Right, like I know this is getting the MJP units up to a certain level, and instead of getting that one, we have, or not a certain level, a certain kill count. But because we were given some of those units throughout the story, we got this different mission. So like, presumably if we didn't do the spots to get like Luna Maria or the Dunbine Mark, or the Servine or the Elgay Mark II, we would have probably gotten another mission, like probably somewhere in here to fill this like weird gap in. I would love to know why these are broken up this way. Like, these all seem in line, because this makes sense to me, these all unlock at the same time. Like, but why is this spaced this way? Because you could just put it right in the middle. Or like, why did this go this direction? Like, if we did something different during this scenario, was there a second main we could have gotten? And do we get to keep these during, if I go to like New Game Plus, if we cycle back through, will I get to see which ones we've already marked to like try and see if we can get the whole of the chart available? And like, these are spread out evenly. Why are these not spread out the same? Like, why is this not at the same height? Because if it's not, this to me communicates something else is different is happening here. But like, you couldn't put another mission in between these, and you would. I hope it's not just sloppy design. With enough time left, I think we'll do a relic. And then we'll take a look at another unit, another mech from Code Geass we can talk about. Yeah, okay. Let's take Domo, and I think we can take the Getter, and sure, Kira probably are fine. Okay. Yep. 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 We can almost get that with the getter, too. Okay. Destroy the enemy with 1 attack within 3 turns. You may use support attacks. Any ally is defeated. Yeah. Right, so we could probably do this with Kira already. Right, we can charge... Yeah, like we can do that already. Okay. So I guess let's give this to Kaname. Just because like we're not leveling her up any other time. I guess we'll do another relic too, because like this is nothing. This is literally 1 attack, which I know is the prompt, but yeah. Yeah, so that was the Relic of Courage before. So we can probably just do exactly that same thing again. And we could probably bring people that have cheers with them. Assist cheers with them, so like to get another charge. Yeah. Let's take Kira, and then let's just take someone that has some assist cheers on them. We could theoretically like min-max this a little bit more and like get like 6 on a group, but that's fine. Yep. Right, so we can go... No, you go assist cheer here. Spirit. Oh, we need to charge first, make sure we don't mess that up. Spirit. How about that? Have another. You can analyze here for a little extra damage. That's already lethal, so... Here's some more. This brings us to 4, right? The top of 4? Oh, okay, we're just in 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. I guess we can cheer you for what little that's worth. Okay. What other assists can we use? Again, probably using Reyna is good. Yeah. If we could also get like someone that like if we get a pile that we like deploy that naturally has Unity, we could grind some. We could probably grind a lot in these missions too. Great. Bionic armor. Let's see what that is. All right, we'll do one more of those and see what Kaname's upgrade is. Customize. Equip parts. Bionic armor. 2,500 HP and 400 armor. Restores 10% of max HP and energy at the start of event phase. Okay, that's definitely going on the getter. That's so much better than all disabler. Yeah, that also feels appropriate for the getter. What do we get? Oh no, okay, we got Relic of Healing Arrival. Sure, we'll do that one, and then that'll be enough relics. Then we can do some unit discussion. I can't stay too. I gotta try not to hang out for too long. I believe 9 o'clock. I have something I gotta do, which is to say, go get dinner. You and you and you. Okay, I guess Relic of Healing are the defense ones. I can't keep track of the names for what the objectives are. Yeah. Okay. Okay, there are 6 of them, presumably. The other ones are down here. That's fine. We can charge, have a spirit. Yep, just take one of those out. Let's give you 2 spirits that you can... When do you Children of Getter? At 140. Ugh. Hopefully their ace drops that requirement, because Children of Getter, or sorry, Chosen Children of Getter is a very good ability. It's just such a slow ability to get access to, and by the time you get it, you're like most of the way to what you want. Like, you don't... It's not that big of a deal to go from like 140 to 160 as it is to go from like 120 and start like accruing. I think that should be fine. If they're not going to attack, though, that's a real problem. Okay, we got to be a little more careful if we're killing that. I mean, like, that's an easy answer. Then he's dead next turn. That's getting in. This one's not, right? Yeah, okay. So, like, that's dead. Cookie again. Just so we can take out one of the other ones, because the Getter didn't kill anything last turn. Yeah, we can go over here and then move back with the next attack, right? Like, hit this and then move back here for next turn. Also, Kira did not need levels. I think this is probably how he got all of his levels. Spirits. No spirits, just hope. That's unfortunate. Okay. You take this one out. And then spirits. Now we bullseye. And we can cookie on them. There we go. Faith and Crush. And you move back here for this one. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at what... we know what Faith does, and we know what Crush does. Giving them the... and we need to look at what Zone Recover is. Giving them the defense drop is pretty relevant. That seems pretty good. But especially having especially now where we got over the hump, we still gotta get some on Haro too. Zone Recover. Use with the parts command to restore 5,000 HP and 200 energy to the unit and adjacent allies. Okay, so that won't work off of the Jet Jaguar's ability, I don't think. Supply parts. Use consumable power parts on adjacent allies. Exclude power parts which can affect multiple units. Yeah, so it's not just every unit. So we couldn't use that from the Jet Jaguar. Okay, I don't know how relevant that will be, but that's something I can figure out later. Did this give us anything by chance? I mean, it gave us another relic. I just wasn't sure if we like hit a threshold of like 200,000 or 200 million credits or something like that. Okay, cool. That will wrap up gameplay for us for today. But like I said, I am enjoying talking about unit design. So, oh, did I have us? I had us on the main monitor the whole time. Okay, well, you probably couldn't see much of the activate windows. I don't think there's anything like compromising in here. We'll just do that quick. And if people are so enterprising as to find stuff out, then I guess more power to you. I'm like trying to be safe and not dox myself, but I probably have already. I'm so bad at like caring about that kind of stuff. Like I'm so bad about like noticing where, like what information is like visible to save. Okay, we looked at the Sekka before, so let's talk about the Camden. I think the Camden's interesting. Right, so well, I guess we can open up the Sekka also, just because I want to make comparisons against each other. Actually, hold on first before we do that. Let's save again. Right, I'm pretty sure I saved, but just to make sure. I just don't want the like beeping in the back. That's gonna annoy me. Hold on. So let's switch off of the main monitor. We should go on the Steam. Yeah. Just in case. Oh yeah, we see all this stuff. Yeah. But not seeing my desktop would be ideal. I want to make sure it doesn't like cut to my desktop quickly. Okay, good, perfect. There we go. Okay, yeah. So we talked about the Sekka already. The Camden is a lot more similar to how the Sutherland is designed. Like it's definitely chunkier, right? Like we don't have that same kind of we don't have that same level of fragility as the Sekka, but we also don't have the same level of chunkiness as the Sutherland. It's a very good compromise. Like this to me definitely says like more like all terrain, more military, more like aggressive army coded, as opposed to the Sekka that looks more like, you know, this could be the kind of unit that you like put on a street corner or is like ready to deploy in case like terrorism happens in the middle of like the urban center, right? Where this is more like we're driving into a jungle or like needing to cross an ocean to like go colonize some more. It definitely codes very military, and theoretically, that's going to code evil in this series. Even when we're using like what is the equivalent of like military force, I'll put it in lowercase letters to indicate that's not like part of the official military. It's always coded as if it is unique, it is a resistance force, and if it is otherwise, they're always described as being stolen or captured. So understanding it as capture to me does not like change from the fact that this can code as like enemy military, you know? But yeah, like we have this like tank jeep kind of look, but this also I think betrays some of the design philosophies, especially around the head of what I was talking about with like what I think made the original Code Geass units so distressing. Like this is appropriately alien for seeming it like other seeming enemy, which is also why I don't think this is going to be like a main character or a main like squad kind of unit. But it isn't trying to approximate humanity. And I think, like I said before, I think that's a very winning design out of the Code Geass Nightmare concept, where this could all like I know it doesn't exactly fit the design, but I think it's like I think it's steps closer to something like Votom's or like Pat Labor than it is a Code Geass design. Like if you showed this to me, I would assume this was from a more military, a more like trying to approximate World War II, World War One era combat, but through mechs to make it like one step less distressing. Instead of this being from Code Geass. Like these wheels maybe would tell me it was from Code Geass, but if you showed this to me, I would not immediately go, "Oh, this is something from Code Geass." I would have assumed it was from a more military oriented mecha series first. Um, but like the fact that like this also communicates all terrainedness, I also sort of like these wheels being on here more. Why is this flashing at me? I like the larger wheels at the back more, right? Because this can be deployed if it's relevant, as opposed to anything else. Hi, control room guy. Have you just arrived, or have you been here the whole time and I've not been able to read it because my internet has been awful? Um, the feet also suggest like more stationary, so I would have expected like a larger cannon. I'm sort of assuming that we might get some like extra artillery equipment to be able to mount here, and that we can like stabilize ourselves to fire like a big heck off cannon from the top. Um, but there's like a spikiness to this that there's a spikiness to this that is also like very counter to this new sleek design. So I wonder if this is like also maybe from not like main forces kind of deal. Just popped after I stumbled out of bed. I'm glad you're getting some sleep, but that's you've been in bed a long time. Though I have a sneaking suspicion we might not be in the same time zone. Um, well, unfortunately, we're just wrapping things up, but I'm glad you're here for the very end of it. uh, uh, is this going to be another permanent fixture? Because if so, this is another niche that needs filling. I would love for it to be. I enjoy doing this, and we keep finding ourselves with like 10-15 minute sections not to do with something. And also, like, if you go back and watch the VOD, you'll see that I had a lot of connectivity issues, and like, I kind of don't want to be trying to go through the game during connectivity issues. This is like a great thing that I can talk about for 15 minutes, like just test and wait for my internet to get itself back in order. Um, and like, I have lots of thoughts about these, especially from series that I have watched. So yeah, I mean, like, I can't see why not. And if it's especially popular, I could like either do like I can do like a one-off video about it, or we can just like I can just like super cut these all together and then have a like here's all the reviews across all the streams if you just want to hear me talk about robots for a while in a different way than normal. Um, but I appreciate the feedback. Thank you. That is helpful to know. I'm super late because I have been feeling dreadful and just ate and got around to seeing you were still alive. Okay, okay. Well, I hope you're feeling better. Um, please go take care of yourself. Yeah, it's it's rough out there, and I don't want you straining yourself to like feel like you got to match the energy always to be here. So few people talk about mechs and their designs, only really Gundam. I love the supercut idea as a side note. Okay, cool. Thank you. That's good to know too. Yeah, that can definitely happen. I'll have to take notes of when we're doing this. So this was stream what 15 and 16, just so I don't have to like go through and rewatch literally all of them. Um, streams of mech analysis that was 15 and 16 so far. Yeah, and I guess I could like also super cut it together into like right because right now I'm just on Rose of the cat recapture. If you would like to, I will not ask you to do work on my behalf, but if that is something that you are willing to do and you opt to do it, that would definitely be helpful. I would appreciate it. Not doing anything later, but dailies. I mean, that's fair. That's okay. Um, but yeah. If you want to give me timestamps, I will be endlessly grateful, but I will not expect you to do it. Um, but yeah, so yeah. We'll do this one and then we'll do one more. Uh, but I have a sneaking suspicion that this is also going to be sort of more of a background. This is probably going to be more of like a background character or like the kind of unit that we send in that we're like, oh, okay, we're like the military level has escalated, and then we start taking it out to show the power of our new units. But those are my thoughts with the Camden so far. Though I do think we see another version of this, so like we might have to come back to this at some point. What should we look at next? I guess the Keisetsu. Is this the hero unit? No, it's not. Okay. I mean, maybe it is, but cool. I will comment them tonight. Hopefully, it isn't too much of a barrage of comments. No, that would be. I will not be upset about seeing a barrage of comments. It'll make me overjoyed. Um, yeah, just like even if I know you're going to do it, it's still going to be the like, oh yeah, no, I feel good. People care. People are invested. Because yeah, like you said, it'll like it's rare to see people that are invested in mecha design other than Gundam. And like, believe you me, I love Gundam, but it's yeah, no. Having that is cool and very reaffirming. Okay. Um right. So this is using a lot like just I don't need to tell you that this is using basically the same body plan as the Sekka. Right? It's using the same model number. It's just like it's probably a custom version of it. So this to me says like maybe captain of a squad of these or we stole this. This has some Black Knight design to it. So maybe it's like, oh, we stole this one and then repurposed it here. There is a like guerrilla scientist, I guess, uh, in Code Geass, who I could very much see doing that. This has some very also okay. Also, Camden was just the mass-produced mechs for Britannia. Okay, that is what I thought. That's what I was saying. That's what I was calling, but I wasn't sure. So I'm glad my like some amount of my visual senses are like clocking things well. Um, but here let's pop open uh some of Lelouch's other mechs. We've seen the one from the game, but he's got some other designs that I think also are worth looking at in comparison here. I believe it's the Gawain and the is it like Shinanjo? Shinkiro, is it maybe? Yeah, okay. So like see this like black and gold and these like this much more vertical pattern where as opposed to there's like not a like clean way to look at any one of these here. This is what I was talking about with like the ornamentation before. This is one of the like primary villains from season one. Um, like her spikes are going horizontally, so we have a very difference in profile of doing a lot of much more like vertical motion. Um, I think we can like talk about like some amount of that relating to character behavior, but I think that gets into a little too spoiler of territory. I'm willing to talk about the plot of shows more, but just like because Code Geass is so wrapped up in its drama, I'm like more hesitant to talk about it. But like this gold and yellow design, at least is definitely supposed to be invoked somewhere in here. Like if it's not, if this isn't a Lelouch mech, I think you are supposed to see it and think of these Lelouch mechs, right? Like it's very you can see you can see the pattern, right? Like, I don't have to like I think I'm gonna say much more about that. The Shinkido and the Gawain, my beloved Lelouch mechs, peaked with these. Yeah, yeah, like the one from Resurrection. I guess we can look at all of them together because he does still have one more. Not Oz, Resurrection. Is it Resurrection? No, it's just Resurrection. I've been saying it like there's like an accent on here, but there's just not an accent on that at all. Uh, where is it? I can never tell what group it's going to be under because they could just steal stuff all of the time. It's not the Maharoba. It's oh yes, it's the Gekkoe, and then we have Sui afterwards. Yeah, like this, I think still falls in line. Not obviously not that one. Like there's, I can see how we got here, but this is so much doofier. I don't love the like circle shape going on here. This feels very tacked on, which matches the some Lancelot designs. We can bring this part back up if we go to when we go to the Lancelot at some point. But this has a lot more regality to it, which is probably fitting, right? Like we know purple is a regal color, so moving from these dark blacks to this like violet color, I would have probably already just been happier had the unit been this color purple to be like just one tone off of this black. And like this, instead of this yellow that's approximating gold, to be like literal gold to go for royalty feels like that tracks without saying too much more about the plot. But I do think this is definitely a step down. And it feels way more natural of a sequence to go Gawain, Shinkido, and Keisetsu together. I don't think that was the order. Is Gawain first? I don't remember if Gawain's first. Um, but these two, I think Gawain's first, and then the Shinkido gets made afterwards. Uh, feel way more natural as a progression into the Keisetsu than trying to get off the Gekkoe. Keisetsu also actually isn't who you think was piloting it. It's some random girl's ace called Haruka. Okay, well, I still maintain that like I'm curious to see how then she relates to the plot then because like I said, I wasn't saying it's definitely a Lelouch mech, but I think you were supposed to think of that, and I wonder how she then relates to it, whether she's fulfilling a similar role of this like brainy strategist. Or, I mean, admittedly, how Lelouch's units work has very like evil coding to them, has very like rival villain coding to them. So maybe we are pulling that more, and it just happens to be that like Lelouch's designs are a bit like a bit off. Like they are off code from what main characters look like. They're following more the Yugi Moto style of character design because like thinking about how Yugi works is like very strange. He's like, yes, I will show show my love for my friends by calling on the dark arts and summoning a black wizard, right? A black magic wizard. Like that's very atypical of how we want our shonen protagonists to look like. So maybe that's part of what the design's happening here. The knuckles feel like obviously are like very drawing, not just because we are missing them off of the Sekka, right? Like this is armament that we've been added, so like clearly very punching boxing focused, which is also sort of an abnormality of or no, not clearly. I assume that this is going to be more like melee combat, which is somewhat of an abnormality for nightmares. Typically, they are very they're very long range focused, which is again why I was assuming with the Camden was going to have like large cannon kind of structure to it. Like a lot of people use guns, and then every once in a while will use lances. And like even still, the melee combat is often seen in the Harkins or the slash Harkins, which are I'm assuming are probably going to be these points to them. I think we can see them better on the Gloucester. Yeah, like this red bit is on a wire and launches off, and like that is kind of like it's a melee projectile kind of deal, but it can retract. Um, so to see a unit that's like so close combat oriented feels also very counter to what I would expect out of nightmares. Not a bad thing, just like that is an interesting design element that's like definitely drawing your attention. Um, and then what with given what we said about the Sekka earlier and how like fragile looking this is, to have a like fragile profile, but then also to have it be like pugilistic is definitely a very intentional design choice. Like what I just complained about with Echika being like, oh no, we have to make sure even though we have this like strong female protagonist or like deuteragonist fighting off like evil influences or like corrupting forces and is like in charge of an entire nation, we need to know that she's frail, right? Like we this is sort of the reverse of that we have fragility, but also that we're communicating strength in spite of that. Um so we talked about the like dot on the head before in place of the like scanning RFID chip singular monocle on these helmets before, but we also know from some other of the more humanoid in head form looking units that sometimes the shoulders perform that function. Like the Galwains does it through the shoulders instead of its head. So the fact that we're getting it on all three maybe also says like very well informed, but also very agile. Typically, we use that to like a scan for like allies, but there's also some amount of it where like sometimes it seems like the characters can use that to like interpret what the enemies are going like what their opponent's going to like do or like get stats on their units. Um so maybe we're also seeing a like very well informed but like very agile, like really prepared for a lot of like reactional behavior coming from this sort of thing. Um there's like putting these giant red dots so like we have this color language throughout, but it's very like it's like secondary tertiary color. I would say black is primary, gold is secondary, red is tertiary. But like having this like pattern is like very like animal camouflage, like stay away kind of pattern. So like we're also warning some amount of intimidation with this kind of shape. Like these could have been put on the sides just as easily for like gaudiness ornatement. But would not have had that same like you've seen the butterfly patterns, right? Where like butterflies look like they've got eyes on their wings instead. Um instead of like just looking like a normal wing to try and like get things to stop eating them, to like maybe scare a bird into thinking that like, oh no, it's a big animal in the forest. And like we like doing that with designs. I think another good example of this like wanting to try and make a face shape is if you look at the Gundam Barbados. I mean, I guess we can look it up. We can pull it up right here too quick. Um this is certainly not going to be a full review of that. Like we can stick to Gundam at some other point, but there's definitely some shape language that's happening, or like some face shape language that's happening there through those red dots that I think is what oops, sorry about my mic again. I'm so bad at that. I don't know how clear it's going to be in this picture. I have a particular shirt of the Barbados that makes it look very clear. Like I think because what we've learned of Gundam, right? Like this is the red chin from the Gundam. Here it's like gold, like in place of its eyes. Here is this sort of head profile kind of deal. It doesn't look as clear on here. I'll see if I can take a picture. I'll see if I can find an image of that shirt I have, and it looks very clearly like the whole of its body is supposed to be a Gundam head. Um, but like even outside of that, like I said, like a lot of animals use this sort of camouflage. So I wonder if we're also going to have a character in here that's also like hard exterior, hard to crack, and maybe that's how we're supposed to be connecting to Lelouch. that we have like not multiple personalities, but like there are multiple facets of how they're going to behave both in public versus in private versus like plans versus actions. Um uh fully full fulling rating full rating of the Barbados when. I mean, you just told me that you were like everyone always wants to talk about gun design and no other mechs, so probably later, so we can talk about some of the other series that don't get talked about a lot. And I have a shirt of IBO gives me faith you have based takes on IBO. I don't know. I've not finished watching IBO. I will actually, you know what? That we can look forward to that once I play the singular game that has IBO in it, right? There is a Super Robot Wars game that does have one instance of IBO in it, yeah? I'm pretty sure that was true. Hopefully it's not the mobile game. But it's also been a hot minute since I've watched it, so like if I want to give like specific takes about the plot, then I'll probably need to watch it. Oh, as a DLC. I mean, that is something that I will happily work around. That's stupid for. Oh, it's in 30. It's in 30. Okay. I believe I do already have the DLC for 30. I don't love DLC, especially for getting characters, and like especially for this, we're not incorporating. That's going to mean the story's not going to be incorporated nearly as well as it should have been. But yeah, because I remember us talking. I remember us saying that like it's not getting good rep in the series, not just in its singular instance, because there's some things that get like one or two shots to be in the series and they still get a good chance. But like that this one was also it was heinously treated. And that this makes sense why, because it was just in DLC. Um yeah. But I have a sneaky suspicion we might do 30, probably in some close proximity to why, because I'm already in this like mindset of how these ones work. But yeah, we can talk about Barbados then, as my voice cracks. Um IBO is weirdly hated for being the start of a new wave. Oh, okay. There are a couple of elements that I don't like. There's like a couple of bits of nuance that I'm like, that's too gratuitous for me. But I generally was really pleased with how it felt. Like I would describe it as refreshing rather than heinousness to it. It's like no, I do largely think it is good. Um, I think some of my concerns are in how like my only concerns are potentially. I'm not saying like I said we will talk more specifics later, but my only concerns are a partially how they're addressing like Middle Eastern the equivalent of Middle Eastern representation, because like we we typically have a real bad take on like presenting the Middle East as anything other than like the place where terrorists get like grown. Um and also, I remember feeling a little skeezy about one of the characters that's presented as having kind of like a harem, if not deliberately so, like implied to be so. Um, and like the ability to have like sincere conversations about something like polyamory is definitely one of the more challenging elements of talking about like queerness in media. And I just remember that feeling very like standard harem anime-y from the I think he drives the boat, the ship, and I just some of the interactions there were like, yeah. But that does not disqualify the whole show as being bad. I think the second season is where most people have issues with it. Okay. I think Middle East representation will stay double O. Yes, I do think the Middle East rep in double O is like it is very thoughtful. It is very I hesitate to use the word sincere because we're still getting like a single facet of it, but I think the way they cover that like that largely singular facet is responsible. I like always have a hard time. It's the same way I've talked about. Like, there's a couple pieces of literature that I really value having read, but it's hard for me to say like I had a fun time with it. I enjoyed it because like I don't know if I want to say I enjoyed Lolita. That has some like problematic phrasing to it, you know. Um, Stop me quick before this turns into a book review channel too. Um, I've got two more thoughts, then I gotta get going. But actually, or first, I will defend Naze Turbine to my death and the anime's treatment of his family. I feel it treats it a lot better than I've seen any anime treat Polly. But like you said, some convos, said convo for another time. Is Naze Turbine the person I was thinking of? Um, but yeah, right. Like that's again why like if we're talking about that kind of nuance, I like need to I need to like watch it again with like a fresh light. And like for all okay. And for all I know, I was watching the dub, which could heinously butcher some of the nuance, especially coming from the like gender politics of one of the most aggressively gendered languages on the planet that is Japanese. So like because it is aggressively gendered, you can also do a lot more power with that based on the words you are choosing. So like maybe my memory comes of watching a dub and I'm just forgetting that I watched a dub of it. But yeah. Well, we'll talk about it later. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, okay. So two more thoughts. I still want to talk about these gauntlets a little bit more, and then I also want to talk about whatever's going on over here. These also to me. So I like the carrying through a visual design of like hard, sharp diamond patterns to like round, smooth, circular patterns here. There's like good contrast between these two, and we're like reconnecting circle, circle, right? And then like these sharp diamonds with a lot of the other sharp points that are going through here. One of the like worst things you can do with character design is just like slap a random, fully unintegrated element onto your character and be like, but it's to make them quirky and unique. Like, yeah, it does, but like it also stands out if you don't incorporate it. Where this still is like your eye is drawn here and to these because they are so different, and having it feel like, oh, but it makes sense for this character to have it, it makes them stand out, but it makes it sense that this character stands out, not this character stands out against this, you know. Though like it's appropriate sometimes to have like visual design make it look like something is out of the ordinary, right? Like I talked before about looking at the Gloucester, right? That some of these old units could like pop off their arms to replace them. So like maybe we want it to stand out that this unit has been damaged or has been modified some way because it's not in like perfect conditions. Like that makes sense for it to not be incorporated. But here, if this is supposed to be a full design, then like I think that's good that we're using like this shape language is being carried through multiple places. Um, just looking at these to me read as they're going to like explode maybe or like pop off and like launch a little bit as like kind of grenade bombs. Maybe you punch something and maybe these are going to work like I don't need to pull it up. You've seen it already. The unit that Callan's been using, the one that has the like radial wave disruption kind of thing, like maybe these generate that as you punch, so you don't even have to hit someone with it. So that like saves some of the fragility, right? Like if these arms are as fragile as I am suggesting that they are, and you punch someone, but you can like send out a wave instead of needing to physically contact them, then like that's potentially something that would also keep in line with me. So the person who designed that Rakshata is the person I described as a guerrilla scientist. And that keeps if like she just grabbed one of these and was like, I'll tinker with it and turn it into this. There's some like unifying qualities there too. Um, but I can't I was gonna say I can't quite tell what's going on here. Does it have like an earring? But I see it's on this side too. This is giving like let me get a closer picture. We can I can't zoom in though. If I zoom in, it gets smaller. Um, this is kind of like kunai shaped. So we're getting like some maybe ninja elements here too. Right? Because like you can see this is like the stereotypical kind of kunai. Okay. I was gonna comment more on it being an earring. I don't have much to say with it. Just it feels a little ornamental. This feels a little unnecessary, especially if these are like separated. This feels like they would just like snap off almost instantly. Maybe it's weapons you can grab. Maybe I'm mistaking these of the slash Harkins and these are the slash Harkins, and they just like fly up off the shoulder and shoot off, but then like the point over here is weird. You could like never get away with this design if you were a human. Like this would be heinous. But because it's on a robot, it's like it definitely improves the coolness factor. Um oh, I guess it's what this is down here too. This was really hard to interpret for me on how the size of my screen when it was small. Um that's like maybe slightly more interesting. We do have a lot of no, sorry, no, we don't have a lot of energy. We have a medium amount of energy sort of pointed forward that suggests aggressiveness. Oh, hold on a second. Whenever I talk, my allergies are just the worst. Okay, we have like 6 points going forward now. The chest piece is more pointed forward than say again, like I mean, this is kind of pointed forward, but like this is very flat. Um No, I guess we have a lot of this like forward aerodynamic design, but again, like that's not necessarily saying much because like Lelouch is a very aggressive, very like forward. That doesn't count. uh when he's behaving as Zero, which is when he's using these mechs, like he is very aggressive, very forward, despite being sort of like the strategist. So not as pronounced as say zeros, but like still like part way there. So this also to me is like if they are like captain of a group of people who use Sekka, this is maybe like not lead from the back, but lead from like follow me kind of energy to it. Um, but any longer, and we could have probably just played another scenario. So I think that's where we will leave things for today with these. We've got Hug and so many more. We've got so many more robots just in this one show alone. But I love doing this. So sound off in the comments for me if you also appreciate this too. You can see my friends started playing a Warframe. Um, but that is where I will. That's where I will leave things for today. Can't wait for the Super Robot Edition. Oh yeah, no, I'm very pumped. Yeah, I guess you missed at the beginning. I'll say this again for your benefit too. Um, I'm happy to do this with once I get to another like monster of the week for Mazinger. We'll probably cut in a couple times with Mazinger to talk about my thoughts on this because I have some thoughts with the Doubless and the whatever the skull boomerang head kind of deal is. Um, but yeah. No, I think this will be a fun addition. But that will close things up for me for today. Sorry again about like some connectivity issues. I still don't know what to do about it. I know because it's sort of out of my hands. There's like not much I should be apologizing for. I think it's just my internet provider, but I still feel bad that your visual experience is not going to be as good. Um today's Friday. I'm off tomorrow. Then we'll be back here on Sunday. We are just jumping into chapter 5. So we're getting it seems like we're getting to the end of this game. It's definitely going to be easier for us to push now that we can just like clear things in one or two chapters. So I suspect we'll be wrapping up soon, which is probably appropriate. We've been in here for about 70 hours now. Doesn't feel like it's been 70 hours. It's gone so fast. I find streaming this stuff so much more fun. It's a ball for me. Um so it's been going quickly, but I think we'll be wrapping up somewhat shortly. But yeah, look forward to me back again on Sunday if you'd like to catch me live. But otherwise, I will see you in my some other scripted video that's coming out soon. Um, but yeah, that'll do it for me. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening.